Call in, guys. Talk to me nice.
Welcome back to Sports Tea. Welcome back to Sports Tea.
Talk to me nice. Nice. Call in, guys. Talk to me nice. Call in, guys. Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Sports Tea. Happy Labor Day. Happy Monday. For those of you who are not working today, congratulations. For those of you who are working, thank you so much for everything you do. So on this Labor Day, bright and early in the morning, I think there's still a lot to talk about as far as the Club Shay interview and Ty Lue. There are some things that just keep continuing to go viral. I had already picked out some of my favorite parts of the interview, just the things that weren't necessarily so clickbaity, but were just of particular interest to me. But obviously, it's going to go viral when Ty Lue talks about the Cavaliers potentially trading for Paul George. It's just like, how much help do you actually want? Right? And then like they also talked about Kyrie Irving's trade and the fact that supposedly LeBron was upset about this and folks are reacting. I mean, you had Jeff Teague saying that LeBron James didn't really care about the Kyrie Irving trade, which I thought was really interesting and a hot take as usual. And then you have Kendrick Perkins. He had a really interesting take, and that's the one that I feel is more believable. But let's just jump right in. I mean, did LeBron James really care that Kyrie Irving was traded? We're going to get into it. Okay. So I want to play for you what Jeff Teague said. Ty Lue basically, he tells a story about how LeBron James, I think, was at a charity event or something like that. He finds out that, that Kyrie gets traded and, he pretty much just was in silence for 10 minutes straight, he says. And so he was upset, apparently. He was really upset about the trade, according to Ty Lue. Now, we all know that there were rumors that LeBron James tried to trade for Kyrie Irving before that he tried to trade for CP3, right? There were loads of rumors, and apparently that's what led to Kyrie Irving's departure. Like, hey, you tried to trade me, let me get out before you try to get me out to a team I don't want to go to. I want to control my own development and my own destination, which I can't blame Kyrie Irving for doing. But the question is whether or not LeBron James truly had some sort of, issue with the trade, that he was supposedly upset about this trade. He didn't want the Cavaliers to trade Kyrie Irving away to the Celtics. And, I think that two things can be true. I think that LeBron James could have traded for Kyrie Irving for Chris Paul and all would have been well in his mind. And when that didn't happen, he might have been upset because Kyrie Irving had 1 year left on his contract and he had decided and resigned to just play with him. Right. And so they'd already won a championship together. 2017 rolls around, they lose together, and then poof, he's gone. So here's what Jeff Teague had to say. I call him Jeff Tell It All Teague. He's just, wants a hot take. I get it. He's got his 520 podcast. He's just gone so far in one direction, then so far in another direction. So let's hear what he has to say, Mr. Jeff Tell It All Teague.
But allegedly, Ty Lue said on the pod that so LeBron was crushed when Kyrie got traded. He said he was out doing some in the field work with his foundation. And he just went flat for about 10 minutes. He was mad. Kind of hard for me to believe that LeBron didn't know that Kyrie was getting traded.
He said he didn't want him to get traded.
Yeah.
He said he knew he was going to get traded, but he was just hoping that they said he had another year on this deal, so it was like hopefully they just keep him. And
Yeah, that's two totally different things.
Yeah. I'm starting to believe. I know LeBron get people traded.
James is on Duncan. They go over the top. Duncan gets it and finishes. Ray Allen in position
Like,
for
to
the
be
easy
real,
lane.
like playing basketball, you really don't care about other people.
Oh, James just level splitter.
We don't. LeBron, his situation is a little different.
Nah, but
And
I'm saying
open
he's still
on the drive.
Like, when you hear Bron when
And
he's
the
away
finish.
from the cameras and he just being normal. Like when he
Good
was
job by
golfing,
Ginobili.
you could tell
Turning
Bron
the
is
corner,
like one of us
using
still. He's like,
the rim as a shield, eliminating the shot blocking ability of Birdman.
I mean,
Beautiful
we need
finish
this person.
with
We
the
need
kiss
that
off the
person.
glass.
And then after
The rotation back as Parker lifts up to shoot.
There was something in the background of that recording. Sorry about that. But Jeff Teague, he's saying basically that LeBron James, in one moment, he's just like them. And then in another moment, he's not like them. And I'll play this for you again for you guys to hear it. I'm sorry that recording was messed up. But he said that nobody cares about nobody cares about anybody else. As a basketball player, nobody cares about anybody else. And perhaps that's the new league, right? Perhaps that's today's modern players because it's all about the money. It's all about having a 20-year career, right? Even Kevin Durant just said this recently. It's about having a 20-year career, playing as long as you can, and just raking in as many dollars as you can. And I get it. But it's disingenuous to say, oh, I had a problem with these trades, but yet I don't care. So which one is it? You don't care or you didn't want Kyrie to get traded? I think that Jeff Teague sometimes is all over the place. And I don't think that his takes make sense sometimes. So literally in the same sentence, he's saying LeBron James didn't care about the Kyrie Irving trade. He didn't care about any basketball players. And then the next moment he's saying that, well, I do think that LeBron trades for players. Which one is it, Jeff Teague? So I don't know what to think too much of what he's saying, but I do think that multiple things can be true. I don't think that LeBron James truly cares about anyone but himself. And I think that he tried to trade Kyrie Irving for CP3. I think that when he couldn't get that done, he decided, okay, well, I'll just ride this out with him. And then, okay, Kyrie Irving hit that final shot. I need to move him so that I can get the attention back on me. But I'll play the rest of it for you guys. Hopefully there's no interference.
So LeBron was crushed when Kyrie got traded. He said he was out doing some in the field work with his foundation. And he just went flat for about 10 minutes. He was mad. Kind of hard for me to believe that LeBron didn't know that Kyrie was getting traded.
He said he didn't want him to get traded.
Yeah.
He said he knew he was going to get traded, but he was just hoping that they said he had another year on his deal. So it was like, hopefully they just keep him. And
yeah, that's two totally different things.
Yeah. I'm starting to believe. I know LeBron get people traded, but I don't think he be knowing everything. Like sometimes he be like, probably don't care, bro. Like, to be real, like playing basketball, you really don't care about other people. You honestly don't. Mook, you know that.
Nah, we don't. But Bron, his situation a little different, bro.
Nah, but I'm saying he's still like when you hear Bron when he away from the cameras and he just being normal. Like when he was golfing, you could tell Bron is like one of us still. He's like, yeah, look at that swing, nigga. Yeah, nigga. Like he started being so like when he go home, he probably like, I mean, we need this person, we need that person.
Yeah.
And then after a while, he probably I don't give. Like, all right, bro. I'm going to LA anyway. Like he probably knew his plans already. Like, bro, I'm going to LA.
You don't think he knew about the 80 stuff or he didn't care about that?
Man, he probably was like, man, he on his way out. He probably ain't care. He probably like, man, we can't win with we ain't winning anyway.
Oh no.
We about to get Luka. I bet we gonna get Luka.
I might buy into that one, the 80 stuff that he might have been as privy to that, but the Kyrie stuff, I ain't rolling with. Because there was too much tension beforehand.
That's prime Bron too. He was in the mix. Then he was trying to win. He might not care as much no more.
He probably don't care. I'm saying
he cared. Bro.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he probably was like, we don't want Kyrie to leave. Like, but if Kyrie said I don't want to be here, he probably like, fuck it, he don't want to be here.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't think Ty Lue will go out of his way to say that the man was down for 10 minutes and all that.
No, I'm saying he probably didn't want him to go.
Yeah, that's
but
what
when
I believe that.
He probably was like, I ain't about to beg him to stay.
Definitely.
I don't think he about to be calling somebody and be like, hey, will you please stay? I need you.
I don't see him.
He probably
doing that.
You don't want to be here. You don't want to be here.
Yeah,
I got a lot of work next season.
Yeah, it's probably what he thought. He's like, man, I done did crazier stuff in my career. Let me see if I can make IT great again. Let me see. We're going to get D-Wade and D-Rose and then let's see what we can do. It wasn't working. He was like, let's get these guys out of here. Yeah, he's let's get another crew.
Respect.
To my boy to Chicago. Wicked times for sure. More in this interview, Ty Lue was talking about Jordan playing in today's modern era. Let's see.
Well, that was the long and the short of it. I mean, he said that LeBron James didn't care, yet he believes that LeBron James gets players traded. So essentially, players are really, they don't mean much to LeBron. Having a teammate, having a team that rides for you, that you developed and built titles with, that doesn't mean much to LeBron. Basically, anybody's disposable or expendable, right? I guess what I struggle with is that LeBron is just like one of them, because I don't think that. I don't think that at all. I don't think LeBron is just like one of them. I think that he has a whole slew of different challenges, and I think that he is very conniving. And Jeff Teague said something really interesting. I've done so many things. Let me go and make IT great again. Isaiah Thomas's career was ruined as a result of playing alongside LeBron James. And then you fast forward how many seasons later? You fast forward maybe 4 or 5 seasons later, and boom, the same thing is happening to Russell Westbrook. Career ruined. Russell Westbrook cannot get signed. Isaiah Thomas, he was on like 10-day contracts. It was widely reported that Isaiah Thomas did not get along with LeBron James. He found him to be condescending. He felt that he spoke down to him, that he was rude. And it's been reported that LeBron James was a diva, that he was belittling to people. So again, you had Isaiah Thomas, who was traded from the Celtics. He had a breakout season the year before, averaging 28, and then comes to the Cavs. Yes, he was injured. He was suffering from a hip injury and trying to recover, but that stint with LeBron James really hurt his career. Didn't get the playing time in minutes that he deserved after coming off of a career year. Plays alongside LeBron James, who doesn't have a use for him because he's an actual point guard. So LeBron James just eliminated the point guard role. Isaiah Thomas was not a Kyrie type. So playing off the ball was not his specialty. He was a point guard. So when you are an actual point guard, there's no role for you on a LeBron James-led team. Quite frankly, that's probably why Bronny fits in so well, because what is his job even? Just to sit there in a costume. His position is point guard, but I mean, he's Carlton Banks. So he ruins Isaiah Thomas's career. He doesn't make IT great again, per Jeff Teague's point. I thought that was a horrible point. This is a guy who doesn't have a career anymore in the NBA. Then you go ahead and you ruin Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook can't get signed right now, guys. He can't get signed. So, these Ty Lue comments, they've just sort of gone viral throughout the sports world media. Kendrick Perkins and the Road Tripping cast, they went on to discuss this in great length. They actually talked about Kyrie Irving and Dame Dollars. They compared them. And, to me, it's an effort to perpetuate the narrative that Kyrie Irving could not be a number one option, has not been a number one option. that he's not a true leader of a team, that he's just this scorer that can go out, get hot on the floor, be box office, be one of the, greatest shake and bakers we've ever seen, be, one of the greatest skilled players in the NBA, but yet Dame Dollars is being elevated ahead of him, even though he doesn't have a title, even though he has completely shit the bed in Milwaukee, even though he failed in Portland to build a team that could really contend. And for me, I've seen Dame Dollars look completely awful in situations where he shouldn't have. I don't think that he has any defensive prowess. I don't think he's anything like Kyrie Irving or anything close. I don't think it's anything close between Dame and Kyrie. And they made the point that Damian Lillard carried his team, that he was he's the precipice for his team. That's what what's his name? Channing Frye. That's what he said. And what I think is interesting about this podcast, and I want to say this because, there's YouTube content creators that will tell you that there's $1 billion industry towards hating on LeBron, that content creation has multi-millions of dollars dedicated to just hating on LeBron James. But what about podcasts and careers that have been started by bootlicking LeBron James or jockstrap sniffing LeBron James? Like, what about those podcasts? Like, to me, Road Tripping is one of those podcasts. Kendrick Perkins, Allie, like they have been kissing LeBron James's ass for years, and finally Kendrick Perkins is no longer on that side. I'm surprised he's still part of this group, because Channing Frye, Richard Jefferson, they are there to protect LeBron. So it's just interesting to me that they continue. I think that it has made for more interesting conversation amongst them. So, I want to play the soundbite of Kendrick Perkins reacting to whether or not LeBron James cared about this trade, or, specifically to Tyronn Lue's comments. He's going to share what he thinks his opinion is on, what the relationship was between Kyrie Irving and LeBron James. And, they're not really discussing whether LeBron cared or not. They're discussing what went wrong between Kyrie and LeBron. And I think it was really interesting. And for me, it begged the question, did Kyrie Irving and LeBron James, like, out of their relationship, because Kyrie Irving he idolized Kobe Bryant, was that a problem for LeBron James? Was he trying to move him because the relationship was just not good? So, I want to see, sorry, guys. I accidentally went out of the stream. My bad. But yeah, hold on. Let me just make sure you guys can hear me. Yep, you guys can hear me. It looks like we're all set. Sorry about that. But I want you guys to hear this soundbite. I thought that it was really interesting what Kendrick Perkins had to say. So we'll listen and we'll react together.
We're going to be great. Where Dame is the precipice, is the tip of the spear for us to go forward. It's just different.
Yeah. I want to take a little pivot left with this, just because I saw today, I don't know if you guys saw, Ty Lue joined Shannon Sharpe on Club Shay, and he alluded to saying that Braun was crushed when Kyrie was traded from the Cavs. Do you guys remember what you guys thought during that time? Ty Lue said Braun was doing an autograph signing with jerseys for his foundation. He dropped the marker and just laid back in his chair for about 10 minutes, didn't say a word, pissed off.
I was at the airport and Ty Lue called me, and I was like, man, fuck. I was hot. And I'm like, who's chanting? But I was like, man, because here's the thing. People, and then another thing he said was, hey, we would have had a chance to win 2 or 3 more. 2 or 3 of the things that happened was, if KD doesn't go to the Warriors, Harrison Barnes is still on the team. Andrew Bogut got hurt his knee. Festus Ezeli got hurt, right? So they would have had to make some real big changes to their big men about what the part is. And also, we were adding more and more guys. Kyrie's maturity was starting to change, right? LeBron was figuring things out. everyone was starting to get just a little bit better in that short window. Yeah, we were getting older, but we were, on the top of the mountain. And for 2 or 3 years, we would have been able to compete with those teams for a chip.
So I don't know the vibe. Obviously, the vibe was different when you guys were there because y'all won it all. When I was there, right, the first time they went to the NBA Finals and I was traded, waived, and then I signed with the Cavs when David Black was the coach, Kyrie really wasn't fucking with everybody like that. Like it was a lot going on. We keeping it a buck. Kyrie wasn't really fucking with the whole team concept like that. Like I ain't see Kyrie at too many team dinners. Yeah. Just me keeping it like he wasn't at a lot of team. And Kyrie actually was the crazy, huh?
He'll tell you he wasn't.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is Kyrie actually was my neighbor. He actually stayed across the street from Kyrie during that stint, right? And I would see like it was Kyrie and Sharpe, like those two were tied to the hip, like since day one, right? And it was so I never really like Bron set that tone, that different type of tone. When I got there, I was like, oh shit. Like far as his workouts, how he prepped for the game. When he gets into the weight room, probably after he already worked out at 5 a.m, and you fucking walk in and he on that fucking Versa climber, that shit I fucking hate. That Versa climber is a motherfucker, by the way. But Bron in there, and then all of a sudden you started to see others follow Bron. Like Bron not the one that's going to invite you to a workout, but he's not going to close the door either. That door is open, but he's not
open the door to see who's going to come in.
Exactly. But he's not going to say, come on over here or come down here. Now, if you come in there, he like, let's get it.
Yes,
but
okay.
Yeah, but I never seen him and Kyrie actually. And I just remember at that one point when Kyrie hurt his leg in the NBA Finals, when we was in the NBA Finals that year, I remember when his dad walked in that motherfucking locker room and blew a gasket, like went fucking crazy. And I was just like, obviously, we know about the letter, right, that Kyrie wrote to Dan Gilbert, and he was tired of it. But this was a young, kind of immature Kyrie that I'm pretty sure if he would have like wanted to change the hands of times and go back again, he probably would redo everything over and say, I'm tripping. But he idolized and looked up to Kobe so much that he actually wouldn't give Bron a chance to be like that big brother figure. Even when y'all won it. I wasn't there, but I'm just keeping it real. Kyrie never really looked at Bron as like that big brother. Kobe was that big brother to Kyrie. So like when he burned off, it wasn't surprising to me, although I wasn't there. I was like, damn, they tripping. They could have ran off a few more, but he was tired of being under the shadows. He just Bron could never really get that arm around Kyrie because Kyrie really didn't allow him to, in my opinion.
Kendrick Perkins cooked on that. Honestly, guys, what he did, what he exposed was that Kyrie Irving and LeBron James, they never really got along. Kyrie Irving felt very separate from the team. That was very clear. He wasn't doing team things. He never really looked up to LeBron. My guess is he never respected him. He didn't love the team hopping and the super team building that he was doing. And to me, that's obvious by his behavior. He wanted to be the number one option on that team, and LeBron James came over there ruining it for him. He was drafted to the Cleveland Cavaliers as the number one pick. So he was their number one option. He was their young star that they were investing in. And as soon as he starts doing well, cooking on the floor, LeBron James wants to trade himself back over there so that he can ride the coattails of a younger player. And I don't think that sat very well with Kyrie Irving. He didn't want to play with him. That wasn't on his bingo card. We heard him say that. And we also heard him say that he planned on exposing LeBron James pretty much at the end of his career. And I'm curious. I'm waiting for what he's going to say. But it's obvious to me that they didn't really get along during their time together in the Cavs. And Kyrie Irving hit that shot. He hit that shot. Not LeBron. And all that we saw was a chase down block when Kyrie Irving hit the shot of all shots. I mean, do you guys think that LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, do you think that their relationship was muddied as a result of Kyrie just idolizing Kobe Bryant? Do you think LeBron James was jealous of that? Is that why he tried to trade Kyrie for CP3? Because he didn't like that he couldn't be that big brother, he couldn't be that mentor to Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving was battling him for, the number one option. And it's funny because Channing Frye, he tells a story about how there was a guy in the locker room that, that bossed up and says, "Oh, you're a first and third quarter guy or something, or a first and second quarter guy, something like that. And I'm going to cook in the fourth quarter and you're just going to be sitting there." And I wonder if that was Kyrie saying that to LeBron. He never revealed who that was that said that, but I thought that was really interesting. But I believe Kendrick Perkins that Kyrie Irving didn't really mess with LeBron James like that. What I noticed is that he also revealed that Iman Shumpert wasn't big on LeBron James. Kyrie and Shump were together. It was those two folks. They were together all the time. He wasn't really part of the team. So I want to take a moment and just thank you all for joining the stream. When I first got here, nobody was here with me. So I just want to say thank you. Salute to everybody joining the chat right now. I see lots of engagement there. Happy Labor Day again. And if you haven't done so already, like the video, share the video. Let's blow up the Sports Tea community and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. But yeah, salute to everybody I see in the chat. Shout out to the mods. I see you guys in there holding me down. Really appreciate you guys. Now, there's something else that I want to talk to you guys about. And I want to take you back for a moment. I know that this is a flashback that everybody knows about. I know that it's been a long time since this has come up. But Charles Barkley was recently on the MGM network, that betting podcast. And basically, they talk to him every now and again, and they get him on the phone. And he called in and he was asked directly about LeBron and the Lakers. How does he, what's his prediction for them this season? And, before we get into that, I want to take you guys back. Okay. I really want to take you guys back for a moment. When Charles Barkley told LeBron that he didn't want to compete, and the fallout from that. I remember LeBron James being really angry. He got super personal with Charles Barkley, very defensive, called him a hater, talked about how he spat on a kid, all these things. He had a gambling problem, owed people money. And these are, widely reported things. Charles Barkley didn't seem to flinch much when he made this personal attack against him. But I want to take us back because I want you guys, I'm going to be making a point. You'll see where I'm getting at. But really, it begs the question, was Charles Barkley right about LeBron James not wanting to compete? And I just want to flash back to this because, Charles Barkley, he talks about LeBron and the Lakers and where they're headed this season, what kind of chance they have. And Charles Barkley, he talked a long time ago about LeBron James not wanting to compete. And then what happens? Ty Lue turns around and reveals to us that at around that time that Charles Barkley said that he didn't want to compete. Around that same time, he was trying to trade for Paul George. And so, guys, did LeBron not want to compete, or did he not want any competition? It seemed to me like perhaps he didn't want any competition in the East. Trading for Paul George when they had been rivals as well is crazy to me. They faced off in the Eastern Conference Finals. Paul George could not get past LeBron. So you want to make the East even weaker. You have the Celtics that you're worried about. and you want to make the East even weaker by trading for Paul George. So anyhow, let's get into that clip because I want you guys to go back with me. I absolutely love this clip. There's a lot to unpack here, so we'll talk about it all. But here it is, and let's listen to it, and we'll react together.
Same kind of question I asked KG. LeBron James' comments were blank.
Inappropriate, whiny, all the above. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they have given him everything he wanted. They have the highest payroll in NBA history. He wanted J.R. Smith last summer. They paid him. He wanted Shumpert last summer. They bought in Kyle Korver. He's the best player in the world. Does he want all the good players? He don't want to compete. He is an amazing player. But this notion, they're the defending champs. And for him to be trying to hold anything over Dan Gilbert's head, and I love all these wild punk-ass reporters on television who's afraid to call out LeBron. LeBron's a great player and a great guy. But this notion, he's got to have all the best players on his team. He's got Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. He wants everybody. He don't want to compete. He want to be the favorite all the time. It just pisses me off that a guy that great don't want to compete.
His comments were what, Kenny?
Inappropriate. And
you stole his answer.
Yeah, it was inappropriate. And
he cheated off my test. That's why he's successful today.
But I'll tell you what. Everyone has a perspective. This is our perspective. But we can't understand your perspective when you are the best player in the world. We can't understand your perspective when you have 2 All-Stars. We just can't understand it. So it's like the guy who says, well, I got a Lamborghini, I got a Bentley and a Ferrari, but I need an everyday car, man. We can't understand that perspective, man. I'm sorry. You have 3 of the best cars in the world. So, and you need an everyday Chevy to get you around, a U-Haul, things around. We can't have sympathy for you. You could have that perspective, but we can give you no sympathy when you are LeBron James, the best player in the world, with all of those tools, top-heavy tools. We cannot have any sympathy. That's my understanding of it.
Shaq.
His comments were inappropriate, but Chuck, don't ever say LeBron doesn't want to compete. Does he need all the good players on his team to win? Yes. It's inappropriate because I think in a professional manner, he could have went upstairs. They have great history. They have some bad history, but, the history was rekindled. He should have went upstairs.
But you don't think there's something wrong with even wanting more? Like for where you are now? You don't think that there is something fundamentally wrong?
Something fundamentally
like with
wrong.
saying that he wants more.
You played for a team that had big 4. You forgot about that? You, Akeem, Scotty. It doesn't matter.
That wasn't even close.
It doesn't matter.
No, it's not even close.
It doesn't matter.
We were all old men way past our prime.
It doesn't matter.
This guy just won the championship. He got a young Kyrie Irving and a terrific Kevin Love. And
but it takes more than that to win the championship.
They just won the championship. What do you mean it takes more?
Okay.
They just won the championship.
First of all, you know nothing about going back to back. I do and Kenny do. You listen, teams are coming at his head. They need more. They need a big shot Bob. They need a guy like Kenny Smith. They need a playmaker like LeBron said. It's only inappropriate because he went to the media. He should have went to Dan Gilbert and said, hey, I need help, boom, boom, boom. And they should have had a private conversation. But don't ever say LeBron don't want to compete.
Hey, listen, he says he needs help. Listen, he's the best player in the world. He's got plenty of help. Why don't he take it?
He's looking at, don't you think, looking at Golden State and saying, boy, they added Kevin Durant.
That's none of his business, Ernie.
I know, but don't you think
you want to be the GM for every team in the league now?
I'm just saying, don't you think that provides his view of where Cleveland is and their chances of repeating?
Done everything. Ernie, they got the highest payroll. They don't have any tradable parts.
I'm just trying to say why LeBron might be looking at that as saying, he says, we're not as good and they're better than they were.
He doesn't have that right because what Kevin Durant did was not ordinary. That was extraordinary. That doesn't happen in our lifetime. That's the first time that's happened in basketball lifetime, where a guy who was on a team that was up 3-1 and was about to go to the NBA Finals goes to the team that beats them. That doesn't happen. So you cannot compare what Golden State has to what the world has. LeBron James, regardless, is the best player in the world, the most difficult player to guard at this stage of his career.
But he has
we cannot have any sympathy for you.
Aaron,
we can't understand your perspective.
Let me say one thing.
We're not looking for you.
We're not saying right or wrong.
Let me tell you something, Ernie.
But when you announce it to the media, you are looking for.
First of all, we don't even know what's going to happen in the finals. But if LeBron James is able to beat the Golden State Warriors or the San Antonio Spurs, his legacy is going to go through the roof. But this notion, listen, the Cleveland Cavaliers have the highest payroll in the NBA.
I'm granting you that. I understand that.
But Ernie, this ain't like a 7-Eleven. You can just go in and buy anything. They're trying to make trades. They got lucky getting Kyle Korver. Like, Kyle Korver's a good player. They gave up Mike Dunleavy, who wasn't even playing. But this ain't like you can just say, hey, let me go get this player here, there. They got the highest payroll in the league. They paying $40, $50 million in luxury.
If they were under the cap, he might have a point. But when you're the highest paid team in the NBA,
by far,
you don't have a leg to stand on when you make that comment. Now, you could say, we need to make our young guys who are here, we need to get them ready quicker and figure out a way because you have no movable income and movable parts because you are the highest paid team. You did everything that you could do. You
and
spent
that's why
the most.
I said he should have had that conversation with Dan Gilbert instead of going to the media.
Okay.
And that's the only problem we had with it, Shaq.
No, you're saying he don't want to compete. Do he want to have the best player? Yeah, he want to have the best player.
We all want the best player. He's the defending NBA champion.
And
they act like they don't
players.
have a chance. They
And
have
need
a chance. He's
and
the
they need
best
better
player in the
players.
world.
That's okay, and they need better.
So I absolutely love that debate. It's one of my favorites on sports TV. It's one of my favorites of inside the NBA. I loved it because for a few reasons. So one, you can't even find the whole thing anymore. I think the entire clip is about 13 minutes long of like that specific argument that they were having. And I wonder why it's not available anymore. And something tells me that it's because, hey, not only does it expose Clutch Sports, LeBron James, for continuously trying to create super teams, right? It exposed, because obviously we saw what happened after that, right? Shaq has no leg to stand on in this argument, primarily because he had skin in the game. So what made Shaq not credible in his defense of LeBron for me was, and you don't see this, and like I said, the real clip is 13 minutes long. You can't find it anywhere. But he starts screaming that the title that Kenny won was not his, well, not Kenny. He says that the title that Kenny won, that's his title. It wasn't Hakeem's title. And that he'll look Hakeem in his face, that he'll look him in his face and tell him he didn't win that title, which I don't believe. Okay, I don't believe that. You're saying that and you're bringing up the Rockets title and the Houston title because you lost. So, Shaq's ego, he has to go to himself to make it about him without making it about him in a way. And he does that sometimes, whether he's talking about a player's contract, whether he's talking about, how big men in today are non-existent and don't really have a role and what he would do to them and blah, blah, blah. I get all of that. But I disagree staunchly with what Shaq was saying. Yes, you have to continue to retool your team. We saw OKC do that this season, right? They're looking to repeat. So what they did in the offseason was look to get better. And you should be doing that, but you should not be looking for another superstar. So that is where Shaq went absolutely wrong. That's where he completely lost me. So he could have been almost right if he was saying, oh, well, every year, even if you had just won a championship, you want to get a little bit better. You want to figure out where you can retool the team, but you don't want to reinvent the wheel. Bringing in another superstar reinvents the wheel. That doesn't necessarily set you up for title contention. And on a LeBron James-led team, when you have newness of that magnitude, you will not win a title immediately. You might get dragged to the finals, but title, we didn't see LeBron James do that with his super teams. We never saw him go to a team and instantly win a title that year, that season. He always needs an adjustment period. He always needs to take, the lay of the land and figure out who he's going to trade, what narratives he's going to create. All those things have to be planned, and he can't really do that in that first season. So I disagree wholeheartedly with Shaq. Charles Barkley, to me, he got unnecessarily cooked by LeBron James being called a hater out of this whole situation. And LeBron was mad that he didn't want to compete. Oh, you're a hater. I'm not going to let him ruin my legacy like that. That's what he said. It's all about legacy, and it always has been, going back, since the beginning of his career. And it's not just about legacy, right? Because to me, LeBron James's legacy is building super teams. His legacy is crying and flopping. That's your legacy. Your legacy is a losing finals record. I don't know what Charles Barkley has to do with that. Charles Barkley didn't lose those finals for you. He can't ruin your legacy. You did that all on your own. He didn't jump ship and go to and build a super team in Miami and make excuses for losing. He had a cramp. Charles Barkley didn't do any of that. That was all you, LeBron. Ruin legacy, that's on you. Charles Barkley isn't talking about going to the Warriors right now. That's you. Charles Barkley didn't try to trade for Paul George. That was LeBron. So once again, a lot of the criticism he receives is self-inflicted. And you can't sympathize. When someone's out there, you got Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson, you have a legitimate athletic center that was balling for you. Iman Shumpert, J.R. Smith. How much more do you need? You won a title with these people. So again, Charles Barkley, to me, he nailed it. Hey, you just won the title. You coming out here crying to the press. I mean, for what? Nobody can feel bad about you. Kenny the Jet Smith, I mean, he had a pretty good analogy. You're out here riding around in Ferraris, multiple. You got multiple Ferraris, but yet you're looking for more Chevys. I mean, to me, that wasn't even, the analogy wasn't even right, because during that time, LeBron James wanted to trade for PG-13. So when you're talking about trading for PG-13, that's asking for another Ferrari, or at least a Mercedes. You know, I don't think Paul George is a legitimate superstar in this league. I think he's a serial loser. Okay. And I can't even imagine what the reason was that it fell apart, but I do want you guys to listen to Ty Lue talk about how they wanted to trade for Paul George, and it just didn't work out. But it is really interesting that this was at the same time that LeBron James was saying that they were top heavy, that they needed a playmaker. He got criticized by Charles Barkley. Then he's a hater. Then he's trying to ruin his legacy. That's BS. Absolute BS. But here's the clip, and we'll react together.
Did you guys try to trade for Paul George when you was in Cleveland?
Yeah. When he was in Indiana.
And why didn't it happen?
I don't remember.
Damn.
Yeah. We tried to get him.
PG, LeBron, and Kyrie?
Ooh.
That might have been enough. That might have been enough to come back.
Yeah.
Because now you can throw LeBron. I mean, obviously you let PG start with him, and then you can have LeBron, but you still got guys. Now you got 3 guys that can really score the basketball.
Yeah.
LeBron, Kyrie, and PG.
And K-Love can score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know. It's just mysterious why Paul George didn't want to go to the Cavaliers. I can probably bet why. Around that time as well, when, Kyrie was headed out, Kevin Durant made comments that it was toxic to play alongside LeBron, likely. Right? Maybe not directly or during that time, but it wasn't too long after. Do you think Paul George wants to be blamed for not hitting the final shot? Do you think Paul George wants to be blamed for every loss? Do you think Paul George wanted his game to suffer and to play like shit because LeBron had to hold the ball? LeBron doesn't move the ball. And, then all of a sudden he's the scapegoat. Paul George's pandemic P. He was depressed during COVID. He wouldn't have been able to perform for LeBron. He wouldn't have been able to live up to that pressure, to, the media slaying that he would have received. Could you imagine if Paul George had been playing for the Lakers during the bubble with LeBron, or playing for the Cavs during any of their title runs? They would have never won. He is a serial loser. But it is just interesting that LeBron James, he doesn't want to compete, in my opinion. This proves it. Him wanting to team up with Paul George, take him from Indiana, and make sure that there was no competition, it proves to me that you don't want to compete. Or where was Paul George? Was he in Indiana, or was he on OKC at the time? He might have been already gone to the Oklahoma City Thunder. But regardless, you don't want to compete when you want to team up with your rivals, team up with people that you were meant to play against. So again, it's hard to have any respect for the comments that LeBron James made in the attack of Charles Barkley when he was right. You don't want to compete. How many super teams are you going to form? Steph Curry's out there building dynasties and you're building super teams. I mean, what do you guys think? Was Charles Barkley right about LeBron not wanting to compete? I think he was right. I'll give PG his flowers. In 2021, he he led the team to the Western Conference Finals when Kawhi went down, but still, PG choked them free throws later on in that series. Yeah, so for me, that was 2021. They were coming off of a COVID year. And I'm not going to give him credit. He has no problem getting to the conference finals. He did that in Indiana. Paul George could not get to the finals. He just couldn't do it. He has never done it. And the reason is because he's a serial loser. That's just really what it is. PG is a liar. He's partying with PG and says he's staying with OKC. And Russ, oops, Kawhi came calling and said deuces. I don't know that it's about that for Paul George. I think it's always about money. Who's going to give him the biggest contract? He left the Clippers due to the contract size, due to how many years they were willing to give him at what rate. And look at him now. He brought serial losing to the 76ers, and they were way worse than they were the year before without him. Way worse. I agree, James. Chuck was definitely right. So LeBron wanted a playmaker. I thought that was him always making the right play. That's what I thought too. He always makes the right play. And he's been saying that for years. I think he even said it last year at some point during the season. You know, everybody's saying that I should have went for that dunk. I just want everybody to know I always make the right play. Oh yeah, it wasn't last year. I think it was whatever season Carmelo Anthony was on the team and he passes to him for that final shot. And, you know, he was even surprised. He's like, what are you giving it to me for? But yeah, Eric Williams, I agree. I think Barkley is right. I swear to God, if I hear any more LeBron to Warriors stories, I'm going to cook Curry for trying to ruin his legacy. We should be cooking Curry right now. You know, no, LeBron James is not on the actual Warriors. No, we don't. We weren't there for the exact conversations that the organization is having with Steph Curry. But why the hell would you want a LeBron James-led circus? Why would you want, Kardashians on your team? So, for Curry to even want that, if that is the conversation, I'm absolutely disgusted with Steph Curry for this. And I mean, he's just turning himself, his wife, into, an extension of the Kardashians. I love that comment, Spursian. Built teams have a dynasty. Bought teams jet when it's difficult. Absolutely. Absolutely. How can LeBron be the best all-around player if he was crying for a playmaker in 2017 and when he got to the Lakers when they were already had Rondo? I mean, yeah, I think Paul George is one of the biggest serial losers we've seen in sports. And it's like we're forced, whether it's in the media, NBA fans, somehow there's been a culture of celebrating losing. And my guess is it's from LeBron James. I mean, look, I work in sales, and in sales, every single day is another day to win. And even when you lose, sales is supposed to be fun and positive. So you've got to look for the wins, right? You've got to look for, okay, well, maybe I won in this, maybe I didn't make my goal this month, but I did way better than I did last year. So that's a win. Or, hey, maybe I didn't make my goal, but I still beat everybody else in the rest of the company. So you tend to look for, you nitpick, you're looking at different metrics in sales and you're saying, okay, well, here are the wins, here are the opportunities, right? And so I think that is almost how LeBron James has addressed his entire career. His entire career has been one big reframe. So it's just like, who's that girl? Kiki Palmer. Here's the reframe. When LeBron doesn't win, oh, I didn't win, but I was the best player on the floor and I scored, I had more points, rebounds, and assists than anybody on my team, even though the LeBron system is set up that way, right? To pad the stat. But that's what LeBron James and Clutch Sports does. So if he didn't win, then it becomes about what everybody else didn't do. Then it becomes, oh, there's 8 people on my team. There's 8 other players on the floor. If he doesn't win, it's, I did everything I could. I averaged a triple-double. When LeBron doesn't win, I made the right play. Everybody's hating on me. Give me my respect. So yeah, Charles Barkley was right. LeBron James doesn't want to compete. And that's just it. He's been that way. Since he left Cleveland the first time, he has not wanted to compete. He stacked the deck in his favor because he didn't want the competition. He has ducked the competition. And we all know that he pretty much sits out any game now that isn't beneficial for him to play. I mean, even his own son gets to just cherry pick games. Oh, well, this game isn't going to make Bronny look good. Let's just have him sit out today. Oh, we can just say he's got a heel contusion, something that takes several weeks to recover from. And then, we'll just drop him in, way earlier ahead of the injury schedule because he'll look good in this game. So thank you guys for tuning in so far. I just want to remind everybody, for those newly joining the stream, to go ahead and like the video for me, smash that like button, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I do want to take a moment to get into Charles Barkley's final comments recently about LeBron James and the Lakers, and what he can expect from them this season. It was very short and sweet, but I thought that it was interesting, and I want to play it for you guys because he's just keeping it real. So we can all imagine what it's going to look like for Charles Barkley when he joins ESPN, and he's not going to go with the La Media agenda. So I think that this is just a preview of what we have in store for us this season from inside the NBA, and specifically Charles Barkley.
Chuck, the Lakers are going to be an intriguing team next year. For one, you have skinny Luka Doncic. He looks like he's lost a lot of weight and he's going to be in shape. But also LeBron, just at the age that he is. How do you think things are going to end between LeBron and the Lakers?
Well, LeBron's going to have to move on at some point. I mean, it is what it is. He's been there. Even though he's been putting up good numbers, they haven't been successful in probably 4 years. But at some point, it's already probably Luka's team now. You don't trade for Luka Doncic and give him all that money, and it's not his team. But the West is going to be intriguing. I mean, obviously, Oklahoma City is the team to beat. I thought that. Listen, I think the Rockets and the Denver Nuggets probably had the best summer as far as trading. I mean, obviously, you go out and get KD with that young team they got. That's going to be intriguing. The Nuggets finally got Luka some help. They had traded away all his players in the last one. Once they won the championship, it seemed like they went into cost-cutting mode, and it kind of screwed him the last couple of years. But they had a great summer. The Lakers are going to be interesting. But listen, it's all about OKC, the Rockets, and the Nuggets. If I had to pick 1, 2, 3 in the West, like the KD thing gonna be fascinating down in Houston. And like I say, my man Jokic, he's the best player in the world. And like I said, they finally went out and got him some help. So, but the Lakers are going to be fascinating. But it's Luka's team, and it's going to be a lot of pressure on him the next few years. And let me tell you something: that Dallas Maverick team, they might be the second best team in the West if they could ever get healthy. Obviously Kyrie's going to come back mid-season, but if AD can get healthy, and that boy Cooper Flag, he's the real deal. I looked at him a lot in college when I was getting ready for March Madness. He's the real deal. But the Mavericks might be the second best team in the West if they're healthy. So, man, the West, and listen, I don't even want to mention the East because let me tell you something. You can stick because I tell people, you can stick about 5 teams in a hat, and I could pull out one of those 5 teams that, you know what, you might be right. And I'm starting with my Philadelphia 76ers. If they were to get Paul George and Embiid healthy, they might be the favorites in the East. You could make a good, somebody could say, yes. Tom, I said, what about the Knicks? I can see the Knicks winning the East. I could see the Orlando Magic winning the East. Probably the most improved team in the East might be the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, obviously the Jason Tatum thing and getting rid of Porzingis and Drew Holiday, that kind of kills the Celtics. You're losing Miles Turner and Halliburton being out for the year, that kind of kills those 2 teams. But, man, I think the NBA is going to be very interesting and fascinating next year.
Yeah, Chuck.
I think the NBA is going to be really interesting and fascinating next year as well. But anyhow, Charles Barkley, he said a few things, right? So first he just basically immediately says, hey, like LeBron's got to move on at some point. It's time to move on. This is Luka's team. Lakers are clearly moving away from you. And just to address that real quick, this has got to be super embarrassing for LeBron James. Like super duper embarrassing. Like Kobe Bryant was given the respect to sunset his career, as the leader of the Lakers, and the Lakers are not giving LeBron James that option. They're just not doing it. And maybe they learned from that situation because they were not competitive, but they still had the allure of fans and they still had the love and respect of fans while Kobe was, headed out. So, there wasn't all of this vitriol and just negativity surrounding Kobe Bryant kind of just taking up a roster spot at the end of his career on the Lakers. Obviously he brought leadership to their team. Obviously he had a long career there and, they were trying to, just respect him and really show how much, they were willing to honor him at the end. And LeBron James and the Lakers do not have that relationship. And Charles Barkley is telling him, hey, retire or move on from the Lakers because this is embarrassing now. Luka is the head honcho. He's the number one. He's the leader. And they're going to move through him. They're going to lead through him. They're going to focus on him and invest in him. And the talent around him is going to be based on his needs, not LeBron James's. So, Charles Barkley calls Luka Doncic the real deal. I don't know how anybody could be the real deal that shows up to the NBA with a dad bod. Skinny Luka still has a dad bod, I want to be clear, and skinny Luka still cannot defend. So we're watching that in the FIBA games right now, and I love that he plays in Eurobasket because what he's able to do is get himself into playing shape. And so I hope that he's able to do that over this summer. And when he gets into, a NBA training camp, he's going to be improved. I hope that for him. I want that for him. I think that he's got a positive mindset and attitude. He just doesn't defend. He doesn't defend. He openly admits to not being a good defender and not defending at all. The blow-by mixtapes on Luka Doncic are just, for me, quite awful. And so I am not willing to call him the real deal. And the way that he was able to get in shape so quickly, whether it was Ozempic or whatever we want to call it, why? Why couldn't he do that for all of the other seasons? So even the mentality and mindset is not quite there. He says the right things to the public, but, post series, he's got a beer in his hand. Michael Finley's got to go and rip that beer out of his hand, and he just, I don't know. When you don't take your profession seriously enough to come in shape, real deal, he doesn't want to lose another contract again. So now he's getting in shape. I don't like when your job has to be threatened in order for you to do the right thing. For me, there's a little bit of character and integrity lacking in those moments. So, I don't think that Luka Doncic is quite the real deal, but something that Charles Barkley said that I absolutely loved, and it made me laugh so hard, was when he said, basically, LeBron James is putting up stats, but he hasn't really been successful in 4 seasons. So what, for the Lakers, what in their mind, they probably have already given LeBron James that respect, and it's time to go. Like, you have stayed well past your welcome. Our last title was 2020. We're in 2025 now. What have you done for me lately? So we've given you an additional 4 or 5 years to kind of just take up a spot, you and your son. Not only are you taking up a spot, but we've had one Western Conference Finals appearance, and outside of that, missed playoffs and knocked out in the first round. Coming off of their title run, knocked out in the first round, which made the title fake news, which made nobody respect the bubble. Had they won in 2021, the bubble, counting or not counting, wouldn't have really been much of a discussion. It would have cemented the fact that they deserve to be there. But they didn't do that. And it just goes to show, it reminded me of, I don't know if you guys heard this interview when Donald Trump, he gets on, oh my gosh, it was hilarious, actually. It was after the Diddy trial, and everybody, Diddy fans, Diddy's family was running around like there was some victory because he wasn't convicted of, the charges that carried the life sentence. They were running around in victory, even though his sentencing still carries a 20-year sentence. And, who knows what he'll actually get, but they were acting like he was free. Then they were running around talking about he was going to get pardoned. And that was just so hilarious to me. And I have to play this soundbite for you because it literally reminds me of LeBron James. Like, you're running around like you had some sort of victory because you're, a million years old playing on the Lakers, padding the stat. You're averaging, I think he averages 24 points a game or 26 points a game or something like that now at a million years old. But the Lakers haven't been successful. So it's kind of like a half victory. Anyway, you guys got to listen to this. It's hilarious.
There was this picture of LeBron, Maverick Carter, his agent.
Oh, that's not it. Whoops.
We're going to be great. We're going to be great. We're going to be great. Where Dame is like, Dame is the, we're going to be great. Where Dame is like, Dame is, we're going to be great. Where Dame is like, Dame is the, we're going to be great. Where Dame is like, Dame is the precipice, is the tip of the spear for us to go forward. It's just different.
I want to take a.
I'm sorry, guys. That wasn't it. I'm in the wrong sound. Okay. Here we go. This is just so hilarious to me. Okay. This is Donald Trump talking about Diddy not getting that pardon. And that, he doesn't understand why everybody was running around so happy and what kind of victory was this. But go ahead, guys, have a listen, and we're going to have a laugh real quick. But this is LeBron James to a T.
Sean Diddy Combs.
Right.
Would you consider pardoning him?
Well, he was essentially, I guess, sort of half innocent.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do. He's still in jail or something, but he was celebrating a victory, but I guess it wasn't as good as a victory. Probably, I was very friendly with him. I got along with him great, and seemed like a nice guy. I didn't know him well. But when I ran for office, he was very hostile.
He said some not so nice things about you.
And it's hard, like you, we're human beings.
Right.
And we don't like to have things cloud our judgment, right? But when you knew someone and you were fine, and then you run for office and he made some terrible statements. So I don't know. It's more difficult. It makes it more, I'm being honest, it
Yeah.
makes it more difficult to do.
But more likely a no for Combs.
I
It
would
sounds
say
like.
so.
Okay.
Question.
Sean Diddy Combs.
Right.
Would you consider pardoning him?
Well, he was essentially, I guess, sort of half innocent.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do. He's still in jail or something, but he was celebrating a victory, but he seems, I guess it wasn't as good as a victory. Probably, you know.
Guys, LeBron James is out here celebrating a victory, but I guess it really wasn't a victory. Was it really? Is it really a victory? Getting knocked out in the first round? I don't think so. Is it really a victory that you're playing at 42 years old, averaging 26, points a game, and you can't get out of the first round? That's not a victory. Making it to the playoffs is not a victory for the Lakers. That's called serial losing, guys. And we have to stop celebrating it. It's just that simple. We have to stop celebrating losing. We have to stop trying to find wins in losing. Because that's all it is. Now, I want to talk about something that came up that I saw a couple days ago. It was hilarious. Nick Young, he was just flaming LeBron for his defense. It's a very short clip on Gilbert Arenas podcast, but they were talking. Kenyon Martin was talking about how LeBron James doesn't have to defend, that no big deal if he, doesn't defend, that's basically was Kenyon Martin's message. Okay. So it's like, and why would you have to defend when you want to eliminate all the competition from the Eastern Conference, the Western Conference? If LeBron James could have every superstar in the league on his team and create the Justice League, he would, right? So, my question to you guys is, do you think that LeBron's defense is overrated? Because we hear nonstop chatter about that chase down block, nonstop chatter about how LeBron James lost Defensive Player of the Year. I believe it was in 2014. To me, it's just kind of like, I think they were trying to argue that LeBron James deserved it over Marc Gasol because of, I forget exactly what it was that, I don't think, did LeBron James even make first team all NBA all defense that season? Anyway, all I know is that for me, LeBron James's defense is overrated. Okay. He was never defensive player of the year. I don't think he ever deserved that title. He was never a good enough defender at any point. He has been cooked and flamed all over the place at every turn, and we're going to take a look at it, guys. I have footage for you guys showing you that LeBron James's defense is not what it's cracked up to be. And I'm talking about in his prime. I'm going to give you guys footage of the 2014 finals, the year that he was supposed to be Defensive Player of the Year. We're going to see this defense on display. But first, I want you guys to hear what happened on Gil's Arena and the conversation between Swaggy P and Kenyon Martin.
If I'm smarter than y'all, I don't have to work as hard. It's that simple for him, right? I'm not going to go out there and try to guard the best guy all the time. I'm going to be in help mode. I'm going to be talking. I'm going to point. I'm going to orchestrate. A lot of that is that. It was the Tom Brady thing, right? There was no defense that you could have threw at Tom Brady that he ain't seen.
Brian ain't doing nothing but guarding the ass person on each team. He's a four-man guarding the ass person on each team. I'm sorry. There ain't no four-mans in the league that he got to really worry about now, but AD. AD wasn't out there, so he had to guard him. He had to guard Najee Muhammad. What's the nigga name? He don't have to guard nobody. It's true. It's good, though, to be at his age. He don't need
to. Guys, take a look at the 2014 defense that LeBron played against the Spurs. Just take a look at this, guys. I mean, look at LeBron just getting cooked. He's completely lost on defense. He doesn't know where to go. I mean, he just absolutely cooked. Their defense was in shambles, but I just don't think the leader on the floor should have looked like a petulant child. He was on the floor constantly. Look at this. Ginobili was cooking LeBron James. Defensive Player of the Year where? Now let's just go ahead and fast forward to 2017. Let's take a look at this beautiful defense. Kevin Durant just annihilated LeBron James. I mean, he had no idea where his man was. This is the finals. I want you guys to understand this is the finals. Look at that defense. LeBron James is just never even in defensive stance. Forget being lazy on defense. It's like, I don't have to do this. This isn't a part of my job at all. Horrible defensive form, horrible defensive stance. Kevin Durant annihilated him. So when people say that he's better than LeBron, I mean, it's because he is. Look at this. Look at that. Put him right on his ass. LeBron James's defense is overrated, guys. Have we seen enough? Do we really have to keep talking about it? I don't think so. Honestly. I'm going to go ahead and move on. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and move on because Nick Young nailed it. LeBron is guarding the worst players on the floor. He's playing a 4 position. There's no power forwards in the league. There's nobody who's dominating in that position besides Anthony Davis, whom he'll likely never even play against. He'll probably either join the Mavericks team and play with him, or what he'll do is just sit out those games and cry that he was injured. Him and Bronny will just disappear those games. But I am curious to know what you guys think about this. Is LeBron James's defense overrated? What do you guys think? You know, some people definitely overrate his defense, though. That is true. I mean, it is what it is, right? It is what it is, and it is what it will be. But I'll let you guys, chat further about that in the comments. Certainly I want to know what you think about his defense and those clips that I just played for you guys. It's evidence. You can't make this up. Your performance in the finals matters. This is why LeBron James is criticized so much. This is why his finals losses are so highly criticized, because he doesn't play well. He shits the bed. Okay. And he might have stats, but look at his defense. How can anybody on your team follow that? I can't get behind that leadership because you're not doing what you're asking me to do. You're not playing 2 sides of the floor. So why should I come in and do it for my minimum contract? It's not right. But speaking of something else that's not right, I want to chat with you guys really quickly about Ray Lewis. Okay? He made some damning comments about Shannon Sharpe. Okay. And whether you like Shannon Sharpe or not, whether you agree with some of his sports takes and things that he has done, Ray Lewis had a lot to say about him personally and about how he shows up in the sports media world. And I'd love for you guys to take a listen. And honestly, it begged the question for me, is Ray Lewis being too critical of Shannon Sharpe? Let's have a listen.
Shannon Sharpe, did you think he was one day going to be a good TV guy personality?
Yeah.
So you knew he was made for TV?
Yeah.
And would he say he's going to do it?
Yes, he had already started prepping.
How much before he retired did he
He'd
tell?
been started.
Oh, so he's knowing he's going to be doing that?
Yeah.
So you're not surprised by the success he's having with his podcast and TV and him and Skip and Stephen A., all that stuff?
No, I'm not surprised. I'm shocked at his content. I wouldn't, in a million years, the things that Shannon has said now or did now, I would never believe that Shannon would say or do any of this.
Like what?
Simply, I take drinking. Shannon, in my entire career, I've never saw Shannon with a drink. Ever. Like it was against the law, right? Because he had some stuff in his family that he didn't want to follow that. And then so I kind of started to watch him, and then we kind of went our own separate ways because I'm like, you're going to take that route. I can't go that route. Never can go that route. And that route is to become so worldly that you become popular because you're talking about ignorance. Right, a lot of times, a lot of these gossip conversations that they're having and bringing up all this stuff, I'm not going to do that to nobody. I'm not in the business for that. I'm in life to try to teach people what does it mean to be a better man or get back to the kingdom, And a lot of times, and a lot of guys get in trouble with these podcasts and things, man, because everybody wants the follower, everybody wants to be popular, everybody wants to make money, but that's a tight rope into what you call influence and popularity. Right? The devil has the ability to make you popular. God has the ability to give you influence that when people see you, they see an image of him. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing for me that started to switch with not just Shannon, but just a couple of people. I'm like, wow, you would switch out like that? Really? And I would never, ever. Why? Because of the respect that I have for my mother, my daughters, my granddaughters, life, period. And I think men, given these new platforms, we've overrode what the platform is actually for. The platform is supposed to help somebody find a new direction. We don't help. Everybody just gets on. Everybody's talking now. Everybody got a podcast. Everybody's the new marriage coach. Everybody's the new relationship coach. And ain't nobody coaching themselves. Because if you were coaching yourself, when it says power of life and death is found in the tongue, then go back and check out a couple of episodes and ask yourself, do you give life or do you give death? And that's why, me personally, I kind of do my own thing, stay in my own lane. What's going on, everyone? It's your man, Sugar Ray Lewis. Listen, I'm on my neck. I'm trying to connect. I don't care what it is. Let's say sports. Let's say life. Let's say leadership. Let's say hope, faith, worry, fear, whatever it is. Let's chat.
Okay. So is Ray Lewis being too critical of Shannon Sharpe? I think that he is. I think that he's being far too critical of Shannon Sharpe, even given the fact that I don't agree with anything that he said. I think that Shannon Sharpe is a complete disgrace to sports media world. I think that he, really and truly has done a very poor job of telling the truth. And I think that he's just been a jockstrap sniffer. And I think that he's had a lot of really hot takes or a lot of really poor takes. I think that he's made a lot of mistakes. And I think that his recent lawsuit and his firing at ESPN is exactly what he deserves. And I think that he's been getting what he deserves. Ray Lewis, on the other hand, it's interesting to me. It feels hypocritical for him to call Shannon Sharpe out. Aren't you now coming up with your own podcast? Didn't you just decide to have a hot take about Shannon Sharpe and his life and what he does personally and how he goes about his business to further whatever you're trying to do? And then you're making it about God and the devil, which, to me is just, it's wrong. And I'm not saying that what Shannon Sharpe is not doing is wrong. Ray Lewis, and again, I think that two things could be true. I think Ray Lewis is probably right about what Shannon Sharpe is doing. It's an absolute disgrace, but I think that he's wrong for coming out publicly and attacking him, his former teammate, and just, exposing the fact that they're on separate paths and, they're not good with each other anymore. That's a problem to me. And I think that Ray Lewis is living in a glass house, and that's another problem to me, right? He's had, stories about him circulating, and again, he had a whole court case and he was involved in, a potential like unaliving. So of two men, I believe, there was a supposed stabbing. So, imagine if Shannon Sharpe had come out judging him and commenting all over the place about that. I just think that it's wrong. I think it's hypocritical because now he's trying to develop his own media platform. And what's the difference? It's not, Shannon Sharpe might not have the messages that you want to hear, but everybody's voice deserves to be heard. And that's my stance on it. I know that we have some super chats that I want to read really quickly. It's not that serious. Thanks for the live this morning, Lady T. Thank you so much. And salute to you for the $2 super chat. I really appreciate you. L Donald 3211, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Salute to you. Long time no see. Rewinded the live stream to the beginning to hear what I missed, but glad you made it. And I'm glad you made it. And I'm so grateful for you guys. So thank you so much. And we have a $4.99 super sticker from Third Eye Lottery. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you all. I want to hear more from you. I want to know in the comments, drop me a line in the comments. Is Ray Lewis being too critical of Shannon Sharpe? That's what I want to know. And salute to Spurs Ann. It's her 9-month anniversary as a member, and I really appreciate you. And I appreciate all of your work that you do in the comment section for me as a moderator. Honestly, you guys are just amazing. So thank you so much. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and share the video. This is really important, guys, to help to grow the community even further. So I really do look forward to hearing more about what you guys, think about these topics. Let me know what you think. Have a wonderful day and happy Labor Day.